I'm in right, out right, up right, down. Happy all the time since Jesus Christ came in and cleansed my heart from sin. I'm in right, out right, up right, down right, happy all the time. Woo! There we go. There we go. Now you guys are getting it. All right, that was good, but I think we can go again. But I think we can go even faster. All right, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Ready? I'm in right, out right, up right, down right, happy all the time. I'm in right, out right, up right, down right, happy all the time. Since Jesus Christ came in and cleansed my heart from sin. I'm in right, out right, up right, happy all the time. Woo! All right, that was good, but this time we're not turbo yet, but we're gonna go close to turbo. Like we're gonna go super fast. Piano, you ready? Everyone ready? Everyone ready out there? All right, here we go. I'm in right, out right, up right, down right, happy all the time. I'm in right, out right, up right, down right, happy all the time. Since Jesus Christ came in and cleansed my heart from sin. I'm in right, out right, up right, down right, happy all the time. Woo! All right, this time we're gonna give it all we got as fast as we can. Everyone ready? Everyone ready? Okay, ready? Make sure you're following the leader. Okay, ready? I'm in. All right, wait, is everyone ready? Everyone ready? Make sure everyone loose, everyone. Oh, okay, my bad. All right, we're gonna do this again. Ready, set, I'm in it. Wait, is everyone following, paying attention? Are you guys paying attention? All right, okay, here we go. I'm in it. Okay, you gotta make sure we're paying attention. You gotta make sure we're going fast, okay. Remember, this is gonna be turbo mode, okay, ready? Here we go. I'm in right, right down, right, happy all the time. I'm in right down, happy all the time. Since Jesus Christ came in and cleansed my sin. I'm in right down, happy all the time. Woo! Thank you all.
He's up tonight a little bit because tonight's the last. That was my fault, Brother Brad. That was my fault. And so we're moving the skit to the earlier part. And I actually tried to look for a new skit, but I just kept getting asked by people all day. They said, we just got to finish for the third time and see how well he does one more time. So guess who's going to do our skit again for us tonight? You ready? Help me now. 1, 2, 3. Say it again. So, sit back, relax, and here we go. Scott Sterling.
Welcome back to our coverage of the game of the year between Yale and North Carolina.
If you're just joining us, we have witnessed an unbelievably well-fought match tonight, and it's come down to penalty kicks. Peterson for Yale, taking the first approach.
Spectacular! North Carolina's goalkeeper Richards just let one in past him now. So now the burden rests on Yale's Scott Sterling.
Here he comes, nerves of steel, that man, dealing with more pressure now than a submarine.
Indeed.
Home crowd showing some appreciation.
Johnson places the ball on the spot, getting ready. That man literally has a cannon for a leg.
Yes, he does.
Here he goes, winding up for the shot, and oh! The cannon has fired and hit Sterling directly to the face.
We clocked that at a stunning 116 kilometers per hour.
Now that's a lot of miles per hour.
Little chance that man's nose is not broken right now.
Oh, indeed. Now Sterling getting checked out for that one. Spectacular save, though, but sadly, he's not out of the woods yet.
On his feet now, a bit shaken.
But not stirred.
This crowd absolutely loves this man.
And Sterling's teammates welcome him back a hero for now.
Yale's up again for the second attempt, looking to make it 2-0.
He approaches the ball with some determination. Here he goes.
Oh, it's high and wide, way off target.
Yes, apparently he thought he was kicking a field goal.
Wrong kind of football, I'd say.
Good show.
Back now to Scott Sterling. He looks a bit worse for wear, but ready for round 2.
And Shaw takes a moment. Here he goes with the approach.
Oh! Sterling with a fantastic dive. The ball flies straight through his hands and once again strikes him straight in the schnoz.
And let's see it again on the old instant replay. Oh, every excruciating detail captured in HD perfection.
Clocked at 129 kilometers per hour. Sterling does not look well.
2 wonderful saves and 2 definite concussions.
They may replace him at this point. He's done all he can.
Yes, as his trainer takes him off the field like a mustached lion dragging a gazelle through the Serengeti.
Adieu, Scott Sterling.
Adieu.
Yale now with their third PK. Richards is in the goal, bouncing like an infant girl.
The crowd holds their breath as he goes in. Here it comes! Oh! Very anticlimactic.
Let's see who they got to replace Scott
Sterling is back!
He's still in the game!
Oh my! And he's taking a very odd tactic now.
Seems to be curling up to protect his face.
Not exactly a recommended technique, but here it goes. Wait, no, Lambert needs to tie his shoe. Ho-ho! And that's why you do a double knot, kids.
Sterling still waiting for the kick to happen. He's probably wondering when. Oh! Sweet buttered crumpet!
My
The ball drills Sterling right in the face!
That man's nose must be absolutely devastated! He's gonna look like a witch that flew her broom into her nose and then crashed into a hammer!
I hardly even care about this attempt. Let's go back to Scott Sterling!
The man!
The myth! The legend!
3 perfect blocks by Sterling and his cat-like face reflexes!
Absolutely incredible! Though I must say, Sterling does not look well at all.
Well, you know football players like to add a bit of drama, don't they?
They're gonna take him out? No, wait! They brought him a chair!
Oh, a bold move by the manager! Bain sets up for the 4th attempt!
And this, frankly, is a gimme. He literally just has to kick it anywhere except where Sterling is sitting.
There is no possible way that North Carolina can mess up this shot. Oh! 158 kilometers per hour!
This man can do no wrong!
Look at him beg for mercy when it's mercy that should be begging for him!
He has looked death in the eye and said, "Take your best shot!" To which Death replies by punching him in the face over and over and over again.
If Yale makes this final shot, it's all over. But no! Oh, he misses, which means we're going to Scott Sterling!
His face is like a brick wall!
A brick wall that can feel pain and cries a lot.
But where's Sterling? Oh, he seems to be crawling away from the goal. What is he doing?
He's throwing away the bat! Oh! Sterling has done the impossible!
I can't believe it! Look at that! He played it just right! What incredible instincts to crawl away from the goal like that!
And his teammates rush the field, happy as a lark as they slide in!
A Bernini sculpture of a finish!
As his teammates carry him off on the stretcher of glory, we thank you for sharing this absolutely heart-stopping finish.
Scott Sterling and his face of steel have won it all.
All right, Bible Baptist teens, come on up here. Bible Baptist teens, come on up here for youth choir. And we appreciate Scott Sterling donating his face to this youth conference and youth explosion this year. Appreciate it so much. This time they're going to come sing. Thank you.
At daybreak he entered the temple to speak. All of the crowd sat down at his feet. He spoke with such wisdom as they never heard. With amazement they listened as he taught the word.
All of a sudden it burst through the door. A woman was brought and stood near the Lord. The sin she committed was not like the rest. Caught in adultery, the penalty death.
As they waited her sentence with stones in their hands, Jesus knelt down and wrote in the sand. He lifted his eyes and spoke to each one. You without sin, cast the first stone.
In just a few moments, her accusers were gone. No one around her, she was standing alone. He forgave her sin and she went on her way. As she ran through the city with joy, she proclaimed,
Justified, had never sinned. Justified, was always cleansed. Justified. so far from home. Jesus took all my sins away. He gives new mercies every day. And now I'm living my life justified. Now my sins were many, the price was too great. My accusers had gathered, could this be the day? I cried out to Jesus, he came in my stead. He told my accusers I paid all his debt. Just if I had never sinned, just if I was always cleansed, just if I had never wandered so far from home. Jesus took all my sins away. He gives new mercies every day. And now I'm living my life. Now I'm living my life. Just if I had never sinned, just if I was always cleansed, just if I had never wandered so far from home. Jesus took all my sins away. He gives new mercies every day. And now I'm living my life justified.
All right, we're changing things up a little bit tonight, and I want you to take your Bible. If you have a Bible, you can look at John chapter 3. If not, I'm just going to read a verse for you, and you guys have been great. Listen up real carefully for just a few minutes. Last night, I think I told you I was going to do something that you all probably wouldn't believe that I could do for somebody that's my age or my size, and I'll go ahead and tell you what it is, okay? Now, some of you, if you've seen it before, don't say anything, but I actually can walk on my hands, all right? Now, that's not an easy thing to do, all right? God made us to walk on our feet, but sometimes people have the ability to walk on their hands, and I've been doing it ever since I was a teenager. And be honest now. Be honest with me. You want to offend me? Put the rubber bands up, guys. Let's put the rubber bands up. Everybody listen up, okay? Hey, look at me. Everybody look up here real quick. I won't be real long. How many of you don't believe I can walk on my hands? You be honest. You want to offend me. You don't believe I can. How come you don't think I can walk on my hands? You believe I can? Thank you. Why do you think I can't? I'm in my 20s. Yeah, I wish. Why do you think I can't? Because I'm older than the rest of you is what he says. Okay, that's a good answer. Yes, why do you think I can't? You just don't think I can. Okay, you just look at me and say, nah, he can't do that. Who else thinks I cannot walk on my hands? Who else? You? Why not? I'm old. Man, y'all hating on the old people today. Y'all people in your 40s, and this Nikki, I mean, how you feel about it? They think we're old, right? You think I'm in my 20s. Who else thinks I cannot? You think I cannot? All right, now watch. Yes, ma'am, why can't I? Never mind. Yes, sir, Travis. Because I'm big. Okay, I'll take that. At least he didn't say because you're fat. He said because you're big. Now, everybody listen up real quickly. Everybody listen up. Look up here. Look up here. Shh. Everybody look up here for just a few minutes. You guys did great yesterday, Monday. Let's finish strong. Yes, Brittany, why can't I? I'm not that old. Thank you very much. All right, now listen, everybody look up here. The only way you'd be able to go home tonight and tell your mom and dad, man, we had a good time. Trevor won $300 again. Yeah, see, Trevor wants that to happen. Nobody else does. They gave us some snacks. We watched Scott Sterling get his face busted up again. Oh, man, mom and dad, this big boy walked on his hands. What's the only way you'll be able to do that? Hey, listen up. What's the only way you'll be able to do that if you actually go home and say that? What? If I what? If I what? If I walk on my hands. Now, everybody listen real quick. Everybody look up here real quick, okay? Look up here. All right? Back here, guys. Listen up. Listen up. This is not a junior church. You guys are teenagers. You're old enough to sit still in church and listen very carefully, okay? Everybody look up here real quickly, okay? We live in a world now where people do a lot of talking, right? But they don't do a lot of walking. In other words, we talk a lot of trash, but we don't really back it up with our walk. You know, people today think you can't have fun in life unless you do drugs. I was a public school kid, just like many of you. I was offered drugs in the 90s. I was offered alcohol. Listen, I'm proof that you can walk life without having drugs and alcohol. I was offered a lot of the things the vices that ruin people's lives, and I was able to say no to those things, and if I can, you can too. And I wasn't even a Christian. I didn't go to youth explosions like this. I didn't go to things like this. In other words, I wanted to be a decent guy, and sports kept me out of a lot of trouble, and I wanted to walk the walk, not just talk the talk, because a lot of people are good at talking, but they don't walk the walk. Now, John 3:16 says what? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believed in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. So God didn't just talk the talk. He also walked the walk, and he walked it so much that he walked it all the way up to a hill called Calvary and died on the cross for you and for me so that we could go to heaven someday. So I'm going to show you right now that I can walk on my hands. All right, y'all ready for this? Here we go. Watch this. Now, how many of you believe it? All right, thank you. Watch. Watch, guys. I'm not going to be much longer. Listen. Hey, listen. Watch. That's not a big deal. I said I could walk on my hands. You said, oh, do it. I did it. You saw it. Now you go home and say, man, a 44-year-old fat boy walked on his hands, all right? But listen, that's nothing like what Jesus did for us. Listen, Jesus Christ didn't just talk the talk. He didn't just say, I love you, and then just, no, he did. He said, I loved you, and then he went to the cross. Now, for just a few minutes, I want you to listen very carefully to what Jesus went through for you and me. They took Jesus, who had never done anything wrong, never said a swear word, never had a bad thought, never cussed, never got in a fight. They took Jesus, they stripped all his clothes off, they tied him up, they got a whip called, watch this, a cat of nine tails. A cat of nine tails is like a leather stud about as big as this microphone. And they tied 9 leather straps to it. And they put like bones and rock in it. And they took that and they smacked his back with that leather strap. And they put that strap on his back. And when they pulled on it, it ripped his flesh off of his body. And they beat him like 39 times with that. Then they put a crown of thorns on his head. So Jesus is bleeding down his back. He's bleeding down his face. He's bleeding everywhere. He's suffering with pain. And why did he do that? Because he loved you and me. Why did he do that? Because we are sinners. Why did he do that? Because he wanted to take our place on the cross so that we don't have to pay for what we did that was wrong. And he was beat with that cat of nine tails. And he wore that crown of thorns. And he shed that blood. And then they took him and they laid him on a cross. And they spread his arms out. And they took a big nail twice the size of this microphone, and they pounded it into his hands and pounded it into his feet, and they lifted that cross up and they slid it across the ground and they dropped it into a hole. And when the cross hit the bottom of the ground, the bottom of the hole, his joints came out of socket, his shoulder was separated, his hips were dislocated, and the whole time he could have gotten mad and said, I give up, but he did not. Why? Because he loves you guys and he loves me. See, Jesus ain't just going to say, I love you, and then sit on a throne and have an easy life. He said, I love you, and he proved it. He didn't just talk the talk. He walked the walk. Can I tell you what you guys need in public school nowadays? We need people that are going to walk the walk. We need people that will still respect authority again in America. We need people that will say no to drugs. Listen, young people, I'm 44 years old. I counsel a whole lot of people whose lives have been messed up because of drugs. Alcohol. People think they can't have fun. Some of you are about to enter high school, and people think in high school you can't have fun unless you get drunk on the weekends. And I remind you, still against the law to drink before you're 21 years old. And yet teenagers drink and they do drugs and they do immoral acts and they lose their purity and they give it away to boys and girls who are not even going to know who they are in 10 years. Can I tell you something, young people? You realize today you're loved. You realize how valuable you are. You realize that Jesus died for you on the cross, and realize how special you are to him. And when you realize that, it'll make you want to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. But watch me, one more thing. I'm just about through. If I say tonight that Bible Baptist Church loves teenagers, you all could say, well, prove it. And I think we have proved it. 3 nights. We had services. We picked many of you up. We brought you here. We've spent money on prizes. We've fed you snacks. Why? Because we do love you guys. So I'm challenging you in 2019 to be different than all the rest of the teenagers of today. all the rest of the teenagers of today, all the rest of the 7th and 8th graders and 9th and 10th graders and 11th and 12th graders of today. I want you guys to prove to this world that we can be good people who are on fire, who have a positive attitude, who will say no to drugs, who will respect the opposite gender, who will respect ladies and respect men, who will keep their hands to themselves, who will respect authority and respect God and do what's right and work hard in school and work hard at sports. Hey, you know what you're doing? Everything you're doing today is going to help prep you for when you're 30 and 40 years old. I'm 44 years old. I've been married for 22 years. I've got 4 children. I love my life. I've been blessed. It takes hard work. I didn't choose that path of all the wrong things and all the things that would have ruined me. I said no to drugs. I said no to alcohol. And guess what? I'm glad I did today. And you know what that does for you today? When you make those decisions today, you're changing your future right now. Now I'm done with this. Watch this. How many of you, listen up, how many of you can't wait to grow up and then break a law and get put in prison for the rest of your life? Nobody raises their hand. How many of you can't wait to grow up, get married, and then go through a divorce? Come on. Hey, listen. Listen, guys. Hey, listen. Look here. I'm being serious right now. I know what divorce does to people. We're not going to be silly about that stuff. It does not take you to hell, but it does hurt a lot of people. How many of you can't wait to grow up and live like a drunk person the rest of your life, just getting drunk every day of your life? Nobody has those goals. But you know what? It happens a lot of times. You know why? Because we don't walk the walk. Listen, we need to have some young people today that will walk the walk. Walk the walk. I could have stand up here all night and said, I can walk on my hands, I can walk on my hands, I can walk on my hands. And you would have never believed me, but what happened? And then now what? You believe me. God can say all the time, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And you say, well, prove it to me. God said, okay, I'll prove it to you. He sent his son to die on the cross for you and me. He proved it pretty good. So today, young people, I want to challenge you and even all these older folk that are here to walk the walk. Let's bow our heads and close our eyes real quickly. I told you I wasn't going to be very long. Heads bowed, eyes are closed. Just a few moments. We've given this invitation a few times this week, and I know some of you have thought about it. Some of you may have already been saved. That's great. But with our heads bowed and eyes closed, there is coming a day. Remember Monday night we talked about God's love, how you can't measure it. Tuesday night. Last night we talked about the answers that Jesus has for the afterlife. Tonight we're proving to you that Jesus loves you. With our heads bowed and eyes closed, I wonder if there's still somebody in this building that'd say, preacher, I'm not sure I'm going to heaven someday when I die. I didn't realize Jesus did that for me on the cross. I didn't realize he died on that cross and shed his blood for me. I would like to let Jesus save me tonight. If that's you, would you just quietly raise your hand? We've had people saved each night this week. What about tonight? Is there somebody here to say, preacher, I want to know that I'm going to heaven someday. I want to know that. I want to talk to somebody about it. I want to have my question answered. I want to know that I'm going to heaven someday. Would you pray for me? I'm quietly raising my hand right now. Anybody like to hear in the building tonight? Anybody? I see one hand raised. That's wonderful. I love it when one hand is raised. God bless you. I see that other hand raised. I see another one. That's wonderful. Thank you for raising your hands. That's wonderful. Here's what we're going to do. In just a little while, I'm going to ask you to stand up and go to the back, and somebody's going to take a Bible and tell you how to know for sure you're going to heaven someday, okay? The rest of you today, let me encourage you to be different than the rest of the peers today. Be different than all the kids you go to school with. Be somebody that doesn't bully and make fun of people and talk trash all the time. Be somebody that has respect and character and discipline. There's nothing wrong with a good old-fashioned yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am. Love people, care for people. Make a difference. I got made fun of a lot growing up because my mom and dad were deaf. Just because my parents were deaf, people actually made fun of me for that. Isn't that silly? Don't be like that, man. Be better than that. Walk the walk. Now, if you raised your hand for salvation right now, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and stand up and go to the back. Go ahead and stand up, go to the back. If you raise your hand, I think three or four of you raise your hand. Go ahead. Just stand up, walk out here and go to the back. Somebody's going to meet you with the Bible back there. Go ahead. I saw you raise your hands. Go ahead. I can give you a minute to do that. Hello, Pastor Randy Dignan here of Bible Baptist Church in Jefferson City, Missouri. I'm going to take a moment and express to you what our main vision and purpose is of this ministry. You see, much of this world today has a question. It's a question that was asked in John chapter 3 by one person. It's a question that is asked by the masses, but when you really think about it, it's really a question we all have to come to grips with, face to face with, one-on-one in our lives, sometime in our life. The question is this: where will I spend eternity? And that question was asked by a religious leader by the name of Nicodemus in John chapter 3. He approached Jesus Christ in the middle of the night and had a question about spiritual matters. Well, good thing for Nicodemus, he came to the right person at the right time, because Jesus Christ is the answer in spiritual matters. You see, many of us have questions about that, and man has tried in many of its efforts to answer that question with their own ideas and philosophies. We've tried to come up with ideas on how to get us to heaven, how to confirm our way to heaven. But the fact is, we got to find out what God says about eternal things. And that's why asking Jesus Christ that question is so vital, because when you ask Jesus a question, you get the answer. And as the question was asked, Jesus answered simply this: "Ye must be born again." In John chapter 3, that's what he said to Nicodemus, and that's the same thing he says to you and to me, even today. You see, God is God of this universe, but he's not everybody's father. What does that have to do with John chapter 3? Well, think about this. We all have birthdays. We all are physically born onto this physical planet. Or else you wouldn't be able to watch me, or I'd be able to sign to you right now or talk to you at this time. But God, being a spiritual being, knew that though our bodies are temporal, our spiritual part of us, our spiritual anatomy of us, is an eternal thing. And so God says, I'm more concerned about the spiritual issues. So that's why he sent his son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross for you and me 2,000 years ago and live again 3 days later, so that you and I can have a spiritual birthday and know for sure that heaven is our home. Well, that leads to the next question. Why do we need a spiritual birthday? Well, it's simple. We're all sinners. We've all broken God's law and God's commands. But God loves us so much so that he let Jesus Christ become the substitute for your sin and my sin. So that if we recognize and admit that we are sinners, we can then trust in Jesus Christ as our substitute, and more so than that, our personal Savior, and know that on top of our physical birthdays, we have a spiritual birthday now, in that God becomes our Father, we become his sons, daughters, we become his children, and we know we're going to go to heaven someday. My friend, it's very simple. It's not about what the church says, or what I have ideas about, or what you have ideas about. It's finding out what God says directly to you and me. And he did it right there in the Bible, and in particular, John chapter 3, when Jesus says, "Ye must be born again." If our church can help you with that question, if you have any questions about that, we can give you some answers. We'd be glad to help you in any way we can. Again, Pastor Randy, personally thanking you for watching the message. And again, if there's anything we can do for you, let us know. God bless, and make it a great day.